Hey guys, Josh with Navigate the Wild, and today I'm going to show you how to butcher a whole shoulder. This one's a little trickier. I'm going to get all this hair off. Don't worry, there's actually not much left on it. But I want to show you the reality. I didn't want to just show you something that was clean and perfect. I want to show you what it's like when it comes out of the wood. So we're going to clean this up. I'm going to get these hairs that are stuck to it off. Truthfully, I get a lot of my scrap from the shoulder. I do like to do roasts, and sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually keep shoulders whole. So I might even do one full shoulder and just keep it whole. That way, if you have friends come over or something, you want to have a dinner, a barbecue on an afternoon or something, it's great to cook this whole, smoke it whole, and then you can, have tacos or whatever. Okay, but we're actually going to butcher this one because butchering this really was difficult for me at first. I had to learn through YouTube, just like everybody else, how to find this main bone here that runs down, and you're going to cut two big chunks of meat off of this thing. But before that, I lost so much meat on a shoulder just learning how to do it. So anyway, I'm going to clean this up a little bit, but I did want you to see it. Obviously, you've seen how it has shrunk and compressed to the bone, so you can see these lines. Those are going to be our cut lines. So what I'm going to do is take my knife and I'm going to start on the left side of the shoulder, and you're going to feel the knife go down that center line. It's almost like a bone that's in the shape of a Y. And so we're going to come off the left side here, and I'm just using the tip of the knife, and I'm making small cuts, small strokes, and peeling back right off of the side of that blade. That is the scapula. It's just this big shield of a bone. And so um, we tend to get a lot of pigs that run away if you don't bust through that with an arrow. Definitely with a bullet you can, but you can just see. I mean, this is a smaller pig. Still, man, it's armor. It's hard to get through. So we're taking off the meat that will give us some stew meat. I had intentions of making some Italian sausage, and then some of the nicer medallion cuts we use for stew. But the big roasts we will put off to the side, and I usually will let those marinate for a couple days in the fridge, and then we will smoke them, or we will slow cook them, or even grill them sometimes. But really what we're doing here is we are taking the big roast portions off of the left and the right side of that Y bone. Okay, and so here I am coming around the side, getting a much bigger piece of meat because that was connected to the back side of the scapula. I'm going to make this cut right here at this bone joint and twist that off. We're going to wind up using this bone for bone broth. I'm going to make a keto bone broth, so no vegetables in that one, just salt and water and bone. So we'll set that off to the side. And then I'll get the scraps of meat that I can, just like I said, because I'm trying to get Italian sausage. So all of this scrap will go into the grind. Some guys make ossobuco out of that portion of the lower shoulder, which would be our forearm. They roast it really slow with tomato sauce and vegetables, and it comes out great. All that connective tissue melts down, and the meat falls off the bone. But for this one, we are going to simply put it in scrap because I'm making sausage. After we get all the meat off that we can, we're going to, again, reserve this bone as well, and we're going to use it for bone broth. So we're just trimming things up. I've learned from Scott Ree, and I've actually really come to enjoy just rounding things off, cutting up meat, making it pleasant to the eye. Because when you start telling people you're going to cook them game meat, their eyebrow raises right out the gate. They're skeptical. And so I try to present everything in a high quality way. That way they're impressed instead of turned off. So we're just capping the end of these pieces. These are some really nice roasts. This stuff is going to scrap. But then we've got 2, 3 nice roasts here that are going to come off of this. Not too big. That's okay. They're going to shrink in liquid or whatever, but man, it's going to be great.
If you don't want to roast a whole shoulder, you can break it down into what's called a blade roast. And what I've done here is I've taken my knife and I found where the ball joint is, and you run that blade right through. Feel how smooth that is. Look at that bone. And you cut that, you break that bone, and now I've got a beautiful blade roast to cook and a lower quarter to cook. Man, that is awesome. And there you have it, guys. So we broke down the shoulder. Follow that scapula. You basically follow this line right here, this Y-cut line all the way down, and you just go off each side underneath the bone, and you're able to follow it around. There's a little meat left over, which is fine for me because I'm going to use this for bone broth, but that's bone, so you can't get anything off of that. Follow that bad boy down, you break it at the knuckle, and then you're left with the lower part of the elbow. So basically your elbow joint right here, you break that, and I've got bones for bone broth, which is great. Everything else is going to have I got a few roasts out of it, I got some more stew meat out of it, and some more grind, and that's a shoulder.